Hello, everyone. Welcome to the lineup. I'm Rick Goff, along with my co-host Tabor Klingel-Smith. Tabor, good Monday to you, sir.
Yeah, fantastic Monday. My high school team came off of a 4-1 week this week, so super pumped to get back after it this week.
4-1, nice, nice. Got some big
Yeah,
wins.
got some big wins. The last 2 weeks we've beat number 8, number 9, and number 18. So
How was the weather?
it's Kentucky, dude. Come on, you know how that goes. It's cold one day and then it's 65 the next.
A little chilly this time of year. And
Yeah.
baseball kind of gets the short end of the stick, right? I mean, it's a it's chilly for us people in the north. The people in the south don't understand. To them, chilly's 55 and 60 degrees, and we would kill for that here, right?
No doubt. Love going to Texas in freaking February and March and it being 85.
Right. Right. Well, if you just take your high school teams and travel south, just like the travel ball teams do, there'd be no problem.
Yeah, of course, just the difference is a little bit of budgeting and all the other different things available.
Oh, money. Yeah, that gets in the way of things for at the high school level. Money.
It does hinder a lot of things.
Well, hey, listen, we got a lot of things to get to today. But first, I am going to make a statement, one time and one time only, um, based on some things that TBS has done over the last couple of weeks that has received a lot of attention, both good, positive, both bad, negative. But I think there's some things that we need to clear up on our end. And so I'm going to address that. I'm going to make a statement real quick, and then we'll get into the rest of our topics. We got some exciting things to talk about. So let's get it kicked off. TBS brought back a feature that we used to run years ago, which is our players to watch list. We're a youth baseball company, so naturally everything we do is related to youth baseball. There are other companies out there who focus on high school and or college players, but that's not what we do here. We never dreamed in a million years that bringing this feature back would draw the bitterness and the hatred from as many adults as it has. The amount of disdain and surprising behavior from adults over a player to watch list is absolutely shocking and hard for me to even understand and wrap my head around. This list is not, and I repeat again, it's not a ranking as many of you claim, but simply it's an acknowledgement of players who happen to be good at youth baseball, nothing more, nothing less. Now, I want to address a few misconceptions that these adults seem to have about TBS. First is the constant comments about people paying to have their kids put on these lists. No one paid a dime to be on these lists. Let me repeat that again for the people in the back. No one paid a dime for these kids to be on this list. Actually, putting these lists out costs us money, costs us time, it costs us resources. We have to compile these lists. We have to make graphics. And all that stuff costs us money to put it out onto social media. So it actually costs us money to do it. But we're a youth baseball company, and we feel it's important to highlight youth baseball and highlight these young players. Another comment. Well, you only list players on these lists who play in your events. Well, that's also false. TBS runs one big, huge, major event a year, the TBS Nationals in June. A large number of these kids have never stepped on a field and played in that event. So that's another misconception. Some of these comments talk about, hey, let these kids be kids. We couldn't agree more. Excuse me. Let's acknowledge them while they are kids. We're not comparing them to high school kids. We're not waiting for them to become high school kids. We are comparing them to the here and now. We are living in the moment. So if a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old kid happens to be good at 9 and 10, that's great. Let's applaud him now. We don't need to wait to see what happens if he gets in high school. There's lists for that. People say no one cares about these kids until they reach high school. That's false. TBS only cares about youth players and highlighting what they do as youth players. At the end of the day, if this is not for you, just keep scrolling. It's pretty simple. Why do adults have to try and burn down other people's houses in order to make theirs look better? Whatever happened to congratulating someone for doing something good? Nothing wrong with that. TBS will continue to promote youth baseball and promote the teams and players who have success along the way. For those of you that still think this is ridiculous, mark your calendars because we will do it all over again in March of 2024.
Mhm.
Thanks to all of you for supporting TBS, and we will see you in the future. All right.
Man, whew, that gave me goosebumps, dog. Like, couldn't have said any of that like better myself.
Well, we're not gonna get into it anything more
Yeah, I
here. I just
know, I
wanted to make
know.
a statement, and we wanted to be done and beyond with it. Congratulations to all those players that did make the list. And I look forward to doing the list again in 2024.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And
fun.
mark my word, we will do it again. Well, let's get on to the next topic. This is a player that probably, if we'd have been doing the list when she was a youth player, she probably would have made the list. And we're talking about Olivia Pichardo. She made history a few weeks back, or maybe less than a week back. She was the first female player. I got to plug in here real quick. Looks like my battery is going to go dead here, so give me just a second.
Always
There we
technical
go.
difficulties with Ricky G.
Technical, we're back in business here. But we were talking about Olivia Pichardo. She was the first female player to play in a D1 baseball game. Did you see this, Tabor?
I did, man, and it's honestly impressive because, for me, and again, this is not taking away from anything that the women can do. It's just we see that growth difference, right? Like we see the typical male get about 6'2", 6'3",
Yeah.
and so this is a really big feat, man. Like this is huge to set the stage for future ladies in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'm surprised that it hasn't happened sooner. Now, I did a quick internet search to find that there are actually 8 females playing baseball, but she's the only one playing D1.
Yeah. Yeah, I think typically like we see a lot more of that like at that NAIA level, D3. But yeah, so it's big time to be on that Division 1 stage. And like I said, it's not that I think women are any less talented. It strictly comes down, in my opinion, to genetics. That typically on average a male is stronger, he gets bigger. Yes, at those early ages, like even now I got some girls that are playing BY that they're just absolute dogs, but they're 11 and 12 years old. They're bigger than everybody else right now. So like I tell them and I challenge them, I challenge you to be in the weight room, I challenge you to continue to get bigger, stronger, faster until your body says, hey, you're 5'8", and that's where you're stuck. So I'm intrigued by this, and I'm super happy. Shout out to her for putting in the work and getting there, but definitely intrigued to see how this impacts women moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you got to believe right off the bat that most women when they get to that age, they want to go the women's softball route, right? I mean, not very often do you see a young lady sticking it out all the way through the baseball ladder for her and try to get onto a college team. So let me give you a little background for those of you that don't know. Olivia Pichardo is a walk-on at Brown University, and she played Little League Baseball in New York, and she played varsity level and when she was there at high school in New York. She made the U.S. women's national team roster where she played pitcher and outfielder. In addition, Pichardo participated in many of the MLB youth programs, including breakthrough series in 2018, 19, and 21. She was part of the 2019 MLB Grit Girls Invitational and also participated in the Girls ID Tour in 2020 in New York and 21 in Boston. So this is not something that she just woke up one morning and said, "Hey, look, I'm going to try to do this." I mean, she has been chasing this baseball dream for a while, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that thinks that one of these women picked up the game yesterday and just said, "Oh, I want to play college baseball," you're absolutely wrong. They put in just as much work, they grind just as hard, and so again, just so much respect for what they're doing now. I do think on the flip side of that, why haven't we seen this more? Is because I think a lot of coaches don't want to deal with the locker room shenanigans that could be.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's a slippery slope for sure. You
And
know,
it's just strictly, and it's specifically small schools, right? Like we're talking about Power D1. It's not going to be a big deal for them to find her a locker room to get dressed in and to have her own privacy and all those things. It's the smaller schools that are going to struggle with that.
yeah, that's a good point that I didn't even not even thought about because right now I'm talking about her as a baseball player, so I'm thinking of her along the lines of being equal to everyone else. But I'm sure there are some logistic problems, some other issues that will arise, and
Yeah.
that's going to be a tough globe to navigate, honestly, because I you know bringing that up, Taylor, how guys are with just other guys, I can imagine how they are with her. She's got to have some thick skin when she goes into these away parks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So while I'm sure there's a lot of people applauding what she does, just as anything in life, excuse me, just as anything in life, as we talked about in my opening, somebody's going to try to burn her house down, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
what they're going to try to do.
Yeah, well, there's actually I don't know if you've heard of this show, but it's called Pitch Perfect. Have you ever heard, or not Pitch Perfect? I'm tripping. Anyways, it's called
It's a
Pitch.
TV show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
A
Pitch. It's called
stain
Pitch.
show? Are we getting some truth in behind Tabor? Are we getting a look behind the curtain?
Listen, I like Pitch Perfect, but no, the show is called Pitch, and it's about a girl named Jenny Baker who breaks through, uh, you know, first woman in pro sports. Plays for the Padres and has this amazing storyline, and that's actually one of the things that they present it with, right? Like her agent comes in and is like, "Oh, this little bitty closet ain't gonna do." Meanwhile, the player is like, "Nah, I'm here. Like I'm playing for the Padres. I don't care where you put me. I'm just happy to be here." So I just again like I just remember watching this show and then of course seeing like this young woman get this job done. Like how far does she get to take it? Does she get to go play professional baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I watched her first at bat. I was impressed with her approach. She looked good there. She made contact with the ball. I believe she grounded out in her first and only at bat that I'm aware of. I'm not sure if she's had another shot to get up to the plate yet, but um, it reminds me. Man, this is years ago, Tabor. Probably this is 2023, so this is probably back in 2010, maybe. Man, it's been 13 years. Has it been that long? Anyway, I used to run a big tournament up in Michigan, an invite tournament up there, and we pretty big regional tournament. And there was a all girls team that was built by this man and this woman out of Colorado called the Dream Team.
Mm-hmm.
13-year-old all girls. And we invited them to come in and play, and they accepted, and they came in. And there was a young lady who Phil Necro had taken under his wings. Her name was Chelsea, and her last name escapes me right now. But I think Sports Illustrated, not Sports Illustrated, Sports Center did a piece on her because he taught her the knuckleball. And that team came up here and played in the tournament. And again, it was all major D1 teams that played at 13. And their first game, we had the news out here. There was probably 400 or 500 people watching the game. And I remember the coach of the other team, he looked at me and he says, "Man, you really put me in a bad spot here because if I lose to this team, it's going to make headlines all over the country." And I mean, I didn't think about that, right? I was just like, "Hey, again, like I said earlier, I'm just thinking about this being baseball players and they're going to play games." Well, the girls actually ended up losing. It was a tough game. I think the final score was something like 8-5. And then,
Respectable.
yeah, and they went on and they lost their next game. I want to say it was a close game as well too. Man, I wish I would have looked this stuff up, and I didn't think we were even going to talk about the Dream Team, but they lost their next game in a close game as well. But then it was a 5-game guarantee. They ended up getting run ruled their last 3 games that they played because naturally they used their better pitchers when they were 13. And I remember talking to the Dream Team coach afterwards, and she had told me she had been running this team for a few years now, and she said that finally at this year at 13, she started seeing the difference between boys and girls. When they were 10, 11, and 12, really, for the most part, she said they didn't really see a big difference. But once puberty sets in for boys, the difference became clearly evident. And this was going to be the last year that she ran that team. So, it's like you talked about, you get bigger, faster, stronger, and the girls um, are not able to achieve those types of things as the boys are. But it was exciting to watch them when they were 13. Defensively wise, the girls held their own. I mean, they were turning
Oh
double
yeah.
plays, they were hitting cuts, and it
Technique
was
wise is never going to be the question.
no,
It's never
no,
going to be the technique. It's literally going to come down the strength.
yeah. And I was, I was shocked to that this hasn't happened sooner in a D1 baseball game, but somebody's got to be the first. Somebody has to be the pioneer.
Yeah. And I don't see this
And
being the last. Like this is only gonna trend upward.
well, there's 8 of them. Like I said, she's the only one playing D1, and I mean, I gotta believe that the other 7. Again, I didn't look this up, but I'm just spitballing here. They're probably pitchers, wouldn't you think? They'd probably be pitchers.
Yeah, I would imagine you're not going to see too many of them being hitters. Like I said, just specific strength. And again, that's not to say that everyone fits in that mold or that category. I mean, of course, if we find that 6 foot tall girl that's playing baseball that she's out there squatting 350, like yeah, I believe that we'll see one of those hitters. But it's like I said, it's going to take a special circumstance. And just for reference, when I worked in the public school system at Seneca, we had a girl. She played baseball all through high school, pretty good. But then once it became time to go to college, she took her college offer in softball and then stepped into that world.
She played on the varsity team?
She did. She played varsity. It was newsletters around here. It was big news, and she ended up going to a local college around here, and she actually ended up playing college softball.
So, I mean, so you've got some firsthand experience with that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how was she treated?
Oh, treated the same. And honestly, she was probably treated more like a rock star than anything. Like, look, girl, you're going out there, you're doing your thing, you're balling out against these guys. Like, just like I said, super respect, right? And it's not because, again, it's not because they can't do it. It's just because we don't see it that much anymore. Because most of women, I would say, make that change, going into that 12-year-old year, right? Like, all right, hey, some things are
Yeah.
changing. We probably need to get you accustomed to softball just because of high school. A lot of parents don't really know what that looks like. Or is my daughter even going to make the high school baseball team? Will they cut her? If they cut her, am I going to be able to go back to softball? I just think there's so many variables that push girls right back to softball. And I'm here to encourage, man. Like I love my BY leaders that are the females, man. Like they do really good, and I want them to chase their dream. I don't want any of them to be pushed away and like, oh, this isn't typical. Well, a lot of things aren't typical in life, but you got to work hard and you just got to go at it. And if you're going to go at it 100%.
What did I mean, I'm sure being around her and that, I mean, I'm sure you've seen some ugliness from some of the people. I mean, what was some of the biggest things that she had to face?
Yeah, I would say some of the biggest things she had to face is, of course, she would play those bigger teams and she would step in the box. And, of course, you know how typical teenage boys are. You better not give
Right.
up a hit to a girl. Don't let her. Like, put some
Right.
respect on her name because what's going to happen is she's going to give that hit up. And it's not a knock to you. It's not.
It's not.
Tip your cap. She beat you that one time.
I offered, I mean, man, again, this is years ago. I used to have my own program, MSA Black out of Michigan, and we had a really, really good team. We were considered one of the better teams in the country back then when we were 12 years old. I actually offered a girl to play with us, but the problem was she was a set of twins
Mm,
and she could play. Her sister could play too, but I didn't think her sister could help us. The one sister could, and we offered them, and the parents didn't want to split them up, which I totally understood. I totally got it. But yeah, I actually there was a girl that back when we were 12, I offered to play with us. So
yeah.
and I followed those girls, and they went on to play softball as they got older. Of course, they played softball, but you gotta wonder if she would have chosen the softball route. Would she be starring for some Power Five school right now instead of walking on baseball for Brown? But it's not what she chose. So kudos to her.
Yeah, definitely. Good job. Proud of her. And like I said, I just hope this lays the groundwork for those girls to realize, like, hey, if you're gonna do it 100%. Give everything you got and commit to the dream.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So kudos, Olivia. Hopefully you do well. We'll keep following you here on the lineup, and when you get your first collegiate hit, we'll be sure to let everyone know.
Is this our adopted player for the year? Let's freaking go.
It might be. It might be.
All
Why
right.
not? I mean, I this is a good opportunity here. We'll do some more research and we'll report back to you next week and see what we find.
No
All right,
doubt.
let's get on to the next topic, which this one really
Mm,
gets under my skin,
we're gonna have a
and
great conversation here.
this one gets under my skin. A lot of people do it. A lot of people believe in it. I saw a video last week of a trick play in a youth game. I'm guessing it was out west, and I only say that because when I watched the video, I seen the mountains in the background, and it appeared to be uh, warmer than what we experience here. So I'm just making an educated guess here that it was out west. So there was this play, what I presume is out west. That's an educated guess based on the mountains that were in the background. And it was a play where the ball got thrown back into the infield after a hit. The second baseman has the ball. He fakes throws the ball to the pitcher, the hidden ball trick, right? Here it comes. But the problem is the pitcher, because they are a youth team, I'm guessing they're probably 10, 11 years old. The pitcher steps on the mound, toes up the rubber, looks in to get his sign, and the runner gets off the base. The player tags him, and the umpire calls him out. Now, listen, you're going to get that at the youth level because that's a rule that's not utilized very often. So some of these novice umpires are not going to know that that's illegal. That's fine. But a few days later, I see another video of the runners cutting third base on a bunt,
Oh,
second,
that's the
third.
best. That is the best video.
Well, the best video in what way?
Like, you want to talk about capturing somebody cheating? Holy cow. I mean, he wasn't
Okay.
within 15 feet of that bag.
So it wasn't even 15 feet of the bag, and I'm glad you categorized it as cheating because that's exactly what it is. It's cheating, and that has to be taught.
Yeah.
So, you know, I coached up against a guy up here in Michigan that relied on trick plays. That's all he did was trick plays. Deceiving everybody else instead of playing the game. And listen, I guess I'm old school. I just don't care for the trick plays. If they work, you get an out, but if they don't work, you look pretty silly.
No
You
doubt.
you look you look pretty dumb. Um, the hidden ball trick, I guess if there was one that I would be okay with, the hidden ball trick, because that's just I don't even know if I'd call it a trick play. That's just the players not paying attention on that specific thing. You see it happen in the majors.
Yeah.
It happens every year, once or twice. First baseman fakes a throwback. The runner climbs up off the bag, and he puts a tag on him. So
Steps
I,
off
I
the
don't know if I,
back every time.
yeah, and I don't know if I'd qualify that as a trick play, but maybe. But
Yeah.
the intentional trick plays, the skunk in the outfield with the runner, the pickoff move where you fake like you throw the ball into the outfield and everybody runs after it. I just have no use for them and they just get under my skin.
All right. You ready for my 2 cents now?
I'm
Everybody's
sure you're
straight.
gonna be wrong, but go ahead.
No, I'm not, because let me tell you this. I just dealt with this Thursday freaking night
Oh boy.
in a high school game. And they did the same thing. Fake throw to the pitcher. Pitcher goes to, he doesn't engage the rubber, but he's within, and in our rule book, it says if he's
Yeah.
within 5 feet, he cannot be within 5 feet of the rubber. Well, what do most people not know? That the diameter of a pitcher mound is 5 feet around. So you're pretty much not allowed to be on the dirt.
Can't be on the dirt. If I was an umpire, if he got on the dirt, I would call a walk.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. So kids like 3 to 4 feet away, whatever. I'm not going to get exact. I don't know, but he was definitely on the dirt. So our kid, being the goofball he is, starts to get his lead. Well, what happens? The shortstop plops him. And we're like, hold up. What just happened? The pitcher was about to get on the rubber. How did this happen? And the umpire says to me, that's not a rule. Okay, that's fine. I have a rule book with me at all times. So then I go
Please
find.
don't pull it out. Don't pull
I
it
didn't.
out.
I did not pull it out. I went and found the subsection, and I said, "So you're telling me in subsection 9 point whatever that this isn't a rule?" And then, well, do you have a ruler so we can measure it? And I'm like, "Really, dude? That's what we're doing. We're cutting freaking atoms." And long story short, we ran the score up on that team because they wanted to play petty BS. But
Well, and that's why across the industry, the standard for the umpire is the dirt, right? That way you don't have to pull out a ruler. You don't have to go through none of that stuff. You just listen, if he's on the dirt, that's illegal. And that's kind of been the accepted rule that has been, as far as I know, has been followed by umpires. But I mean, maybe something's changed. I haven't umpired. I retired 3 years ago after doing it for 30 years. So maybe something's new come along. I'm not sure. But that one, the hidden ball trick, to me, in my opinion, that hidden ball trick should never, ever work. And I used to preach to my players all the time. Who is the most important person on a baseball field?
the baseball,
What's that?
the baseball.
Who's the most important person?
Oh, the base runners.
No, no. You were close with your first answer. The most important person is the guy that has the baseball.
Ah, of course. See, you're
He's the most,
tricking me.
he's the most important person on the field. The guy that
Right.
has the baseball. You have to locate the baseball. You have to find the baseball. And I used to tell my players all the time, you do not get off of that base until you find the baseball. So if you take a lead off the base without finding the baseball and you get tagged out with the hidden ball routine, it was going to be a long day of running for you.
I mean, I do understand what you're saying. Like, I 100% agree. I just think when emotions are high, you know, and again, this isn't every situation. Yes, they should be coached, they should be taught. I just think, I'm going to use, again, Thursday as an example. We were only up 2-0 at that point. Kid hits a double, scores 2 more runs. And honestly, it's just one of those things that you're like, let's go, right? Like, no one's thinking about anything or any trick stuff happening. And then it happens, and you're like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of time and energy, in my opinion, has to be put into these trick plays when they could be teaching them more fundamentals and how to turn a double play better and their feet work and so forth and so on.
Yeah, so you lose sight a little bit of like, oh, hey guys, this is, we didn't know that we were playing, in my opinion, Bush League baseball, because you're just trying to find outs.
Well, hang on, I'll be the devil's advocate here. Well, it's only Bush League because you got caught.
No,
I
because
know.
unlike softball, I'm not allowed to leave the bag early and get out. So, you know what I mean? Like,
The one that aggravates me is the cutting the third base, the play. That one
that's
is
insane.
that is no place in baseball. Anybody that does it is not Not a good coach, in my opinion, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. But I said what I said. You
But
know,
you're right though, and honestly, the only other person to blame, and I hate that I even have to say this because I'm definitely team umpire, but like that's the umpire's fault.
well, now hang on. I'm getting ready to address that. I'm getting ready to address that. All right. The reason this play works, the reason the play works is because it's a two-man umpiring system.
Yep.
All right. If there was a three-man or a four-man umpiring system, the play don't work, and these teams don't try it. So they have found a loophole in the umpiring rotations and the umpiring system, right? So
Yep.
if there's runners at second and third, and the umpire's in the middle, and the batter lays a bunt down the first base line. Okay, let me tell you how the responsibilities work. The home plate umpire has a responsibility of that ball going fair or foul. And the field umpire has a responsibility of safe or out at first base. So basically, both sets of eyes are lured to the first base side of the field,
Which leaves the backside open.
which leaves the backside open, right? So if it would take a very, very seasoned and skilled home plate umpire to keep his head on a swivel, to watch the runners touch third base, which is his responsibility. I'm not disputing that it's his responsibility. He is responsible. The home plate umpire is responsible for the runners touching third base.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets tricky, right? There's 5 things to look at, and there's only 2 sets of eyes. That's why this play works. And especially if you get the bunt close to the line. Now, if you get the bunt more towards the pitcher's mound, then the umpire can give up that responsibility because clearly it's staying foul, right? How this
Yeah.
works is if that ball goes right down the first base line, that umpire has to stay because we all know that ball can go fair or foul 4 or 5 different times based on the manicuring of the field.
Correct.
So he's stuck with that. That's his primary. He's stuck there. And then that's when they can cut third base. Again, that has to be taught, that has to be practiced. And the fact that these kids were jumping up and down with joy that they executed this properly is just absolutely abysmal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I love winning. I love winning more than I hate losing. And I just I don't know. I don't know that I could compromise my morals to guarantee that I win. If I'm going to win, I'm going to win the right way.
Well, there's still no guarantee that you're going to win. I mean, you just proved it earlier by saying you went on and run ruled the team. So there's no
I mean, yeah.
guarantees you're going to win.
I'm just
I mean, to
meaning
me,
those. Go ahead.
teams that do that, to me, they know they're the lesser team and they're trying to get an advantage or a leg up on you somehow, maybe swing the momentum. But that's who does those plays, the lesser teams, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I'm all for stealing runs, but what happened to getting in a first and third offense and leaving early and staying in a rundown and then letting the guy from third score, not cutting the bag 15 feet short?
Right. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. And, I agree with you. I mean, and I'm sure some people are going to come at us going, well, what about this? That's cheating too, or that's being trick, or that's being, acting like you're tricking them. I mean, come on.
No, we're making you make a decision. That's not tricking anybody. You're
Right.
either going to make the decision to get the guy out going a second, or you're going to get the guy out going home.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And there's all kinds of trick plays and
Of
um,
course.
I just anytime I went up against a coach that ran trick plays, I knew immediately I had him beat.
Oh yeah, because if you got to pull these kind of stops out on me, it's going to be a
Right.
long night for you, bub.
Right. Right. And most coaches that have trick plays run against them, they kind of take your mentality. It's like, all right, well, now I'm going to beat you 15 to nothing instead of 10 to nothing.
Yep.
So anyway, not a big fan of the trick plays. I wish they would just, you know, result on their own talents and play the game. Play the game the right way. Again, I'm old school. It's my opinion. I'm sure some people are going to say, well, what is the right way? Which brings us to our next topic of what is the right way to play this game,
Well, I
right?
hope you know I'm a big Jesse Cole fan, big banana ball fan. So let's freaking go.
So if you want to, if you're an old school guy and want to have the game played the right way and you want to watch the game played the right way, well, then you do not want to watch Banana Ball. That is the thing that is taking this country over by craze. It's an exciting brand of baseball. I guess that's the best way to put it. It is a brand of baseball.
It's fans first, baby.
It's fans first. I do agree with you there. It reminds me a lot of the Harlem Globetrotters in basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
Basically, let's just put it what it is.
similar.
It's the Harlem Globetrotters.
It's very similar, but I just think that the things that they're doing well is they're keeping the average fan engaged.
Yeah, and I know Major League Baseball is trying to do some things to make the game more exciting for the fans. They're putting in the pitch clock, they're making the bases bigger, they're trying to do all this stuff. But on a side note here, before we dig down into the banana ball thing, Major League Baseball, listen, I'm nobody, but let me give you my opinion on how to make the game more exciting for people. One, lower your ticket prices, right? No one needs to pay that exorbitant amount to go sit in the stands to watch your team. And two, make the players accessible to fans. And until they do that, you can change the pitch count all you want. You can change base dimensions. You can change anything. It's not going to help. The fans need to be more engaged. And the only way to get them more engaged is to save them money and to make the players accessible. And until you do that, I think you're still going to have a problem. But again, that's just my opinion. I'm off my soapbox now.
No, I mean, honestly, you could stay on that for a long time because that's the truth. That is 100% the truth. The difference between what they're doing and what these guys are doing is these guys' ticket prices don't change. But in the pro MLB, how I see it, you would rather charge 1,000 people $150 versus selling out that crowd at $35.
Yeah. And I mean, all you got to do is look at Tampa Bay, right? Tampa Bay, year in and year out, has a really, really good baseball team, but they can't put nobody in the stands. They can't put
Because
nobody in the stands.
it's $75 for a halfway decent seat.
Yeah, and with the way things are and inflation now, and there's more important things I can spend my money on for my family.
Especially
It's
when I can watch that
becoming
game for free.
right. You can sit home and watch it, right? I mean,
And with
that
camera angles the way they are these days, hell, you're probably going to get a better view.
oh,
At,
for sure you are. But listen, that's for another topic, another day. Let's get back. Let's get back to Banana Ball.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, I
you know,
got
I
the
was
rules
going
pulled
over
up.
I was going over the rules, and some of these rules, I mean, just wow. Wow. But whenever these guys play, they're selling out and people enjoy them. But I wonder how long can it sustain, right? Can you keep going to these games for days, weeks, months, years?
Yes, because listen, I'm the biggest Jesse Cole fan, so I'm gonna have you're gonna have to
Explain
play
to everyone
devil.
explain to everyone who Jesse Cole is that don't know.
So Jesse Cole is the owner of the Savannah Bananas and the Gastonia Grizzlies. He's the one that's kind of came up with all these ideas of like we want to be different. We want to be, we want to be out there. Like they have dancing grandmas and they do all these different skits and they do all these TikToks and they will stay relevant because of how much different they are in this space. I mean, rule one. This is the best example. It's rule one. Win the inning, get the point. So it doesn't matter if you score 15 runs in that first inning and the other team scores 0. That's 1 point.
So you go to the second inning basically and scores really 1-0.
Yeah. And the only time that every run counts is the last inning.
So you go to the last inning. I'm assuming these are 9-inning games.
Yes. Yes. They go for 9 innings or 2 hours.
Well, Well, I was going to say we'll get to rule number 2 here in a minute, but let's just say that they're 9 innings, just for
Yes.
argument's sake, which we all know they're not going to be 9 innings. But so if I won 6 innings and you won 2 going into the ninth, the score is 6-2, and now every run counts from that point forward.
Yep.
Got it. No
I'm
matter
with
how many runs scored. So this has got to be a statistical nightmare for the statistician on this team.
Oh. I mean, they're not out here using game changers, so I mean,
So hypothetically, let's say Tabor Klingelsmith plays for the Bananas,
yeah.
and he was 4 for 4 on the day, drove in 12 runs, and the final score was 8-2.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I'm talking about. It's going to get it to be a statistical nightmare. Wait a minute, how did he drive in 12 runs, but they won 8-2? Somebody must have made a mistake somewhere.
I
Or do they
mean,
even keep stats?
I don't think they're keeping stats like that, man, because they're honestly about putting on a show. And that's what these fans are here for. They're here to see a show. They're here for entertainment, and luckily they're playing baseball.
Do we know how much these players make? Do we have any idea?
I mean, I know their biggest sell is like you brand yourself, right? Like here, I know a player that I can look up. I'll look him up while you get
While
us going.
while you're looking them up here, I want to go on to rule number 2 with the time limit, and this kind of cracks me up too. And I have this argument with people all the time, even at the youth level. Time limit is 2 hours. No new inning can start after an hour and 50 minutes. Well, then your time limit's an hour and 50 minutes. It's not 2 hours. Unless they're running drop dead. It doesn't say anything about drop dead, but
No,
um,
it's not drop dead. It's just no new inning after the hour 50. So no different than playing a travel ball tournament. You're going to give them those 10 minutes.
no. Then your time limit is 1 hour and 50 minutes. It's 13
No new
hours.
inning. Come on, coach. You know it's no new inning after an hour 50.
It's the same thing.
Well,
It's the
the
same
biggest thing
thing.
is they're trying to speed the game up, but it says the Savannah. Let's see, and they make about 200,000 during each home game throughout the season, is what reported February 16th. I don't know.
Roughly.
Now you're roughly. Oh, here we go. So the player is probably going to make about $75,000 a year.
75. Oh, I mean, for them, that's good. That's good.
I mean,
If
you
they're having
know,
fun.
yeah, but that's the thing is you look at the product they're putting out, and you know, for me, it's not just your everyday average Joes either. These are talented guys that are pretty solid at baseball now. They played actually with the Bananas played against a team of former major leaguers, and they played 9 innings in an hour and 40 minutes.
Also, they get 9 innings. Well, you know, I'm looking more at the rules here, and I guess it is possible for them to get to that 9 innings because rule number 3 is
No
probably my
stepping
favorite
out.
rule. That's my favorite rule that they have for the Bananas is don't step out of the box. You step out at the strike. I love that rule. I wish Major League Baseball would do that, but the purists of Major League Baseball are going to say, hey, listen, let these guys, don't rush the game, right? Don't rush the game. But I do
What
like the no
about
stepping.
all right? Well, then you're gonna hate Rule 4.
I hate Rule 4.
No bunting. Bunting
I hate
sucks.
Rule
If a hitter bunts, they are ejected from the game. Let's go.
Well, I mean, I get it for this type, this Harlem Globetrotter type game. I get it why they're doing it. I mean, because no one comes to watch anybody bunt, right? But but on a side note there, have you seen, I think it's the Japanese league, the professional leagues, I don't know if they do this instead of the home run derby or they do it along with the home run derby, but
Oh,
they
the
have a
bunt.
bunting derby.
Yeah. Yeah,
They have
that's
a
pretty
bunting
cool.
derby. I love that idea. That might get incorporated in the TBS Nationals. We're gonna have a bunting derby. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Where they're gonna bunt with their green DeMarinis in and send it over the fence.
Well, hey, listen, I'm just telling you, I thought that was pretty sweet. But
No, it
I
is
get it.
cool.
I get it for the banana product, right? We're not here to bunt, boys. You know, chicks dig the long ball. Ain't that the saying?
They do. But what about Rule 5?
I I'm kind of torn on this one. Um, yeah, I mean, if the ball gets past the catcher, why wouldn't you take off the first base? I mean, especially
Yeah,
if you're
so
down
Rule
0-2
5
in
is
the count.
batters can steal first.
Yeah, they tried
Yeah.
this in the majors. They tried
They
this in the
did try
majors.
it in AAA.
I don't know if it went that high. It
It
might have
might have
just
been
been,
AA then.
yeah, it might have just been single A or rookie ball that they tried this.
I do know
Um,
they did it though because they had a study about it on how many people stole first and all those things.
you know, they absolutely did. Um, I mean, it puts more pressure on the pitcher and catcher. You know, curveballs in the dirt now are a little bit more suspect. I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, that one I can live with it or take it or leave it or whatever. That one has no merit to me. But rule number 6, I do not understand this. This has got to be a circus. I've never
No,
seen
dude,
a video of this happening.
it's awesome. So they have the Banana Land documentary on ESPN, and dude, I'm telling you, when I tell you I'm the biggest Savannah Banana fan, I'm the biggest Savannah Banana fan. Like this is my stuff, dude. So pretty much what they do is if there's a walk, they throw it. Every player has to touch the ball. So pretty much the guy can keep running until everybody touches the ball, and then they can tag him out. So typically it'll be like they're all crashing in on second base, left field to center field to right field to third. Oh, dude, it is mayhem.
Oh, okay. See, I'm wondering, I have not seen a video of this happening, right? So I'm trying to visualize this in my mind of how this goes. And it's got to be like a Chinese fire drill. Is kind of how
Oh,
I'm
it is.
picturing it. But
Everybody
what
is
you're saying now
madness.
makes sense. Everybody converges on second base. Okay, now at least I visualize it a little bit better. But um,
I'm gonna send you a video. I mean, granted, it ain't gonna work right now. But I cannot wait for you to see this. Like, I want to see your face
so
when
can
you see this.
I mean, are runners getting to second base, or is it tough to get to second?
Oh no, they're getting to second base dang near every rip.
Oh, okay. So a walk
They're
turns
getting
into
to second.
basically two bases.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't seen a video of that actually actually happening yet, so I'll be anxious to see how that works out.
Oh, it's on its
Um,
way to you.
rule 7, rule 7, again, it's another one of those rules I can live with or take or leave or whatever. No mound visits. Um, I
Yeah,
mean,
nobody
let's
wants to
face
see the
it.
pitching guy out there.
I mean, most mound visits are just to stall and buy the relief pitcher time anyway. And isn't that what they're for, really?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I guess if it gets late in the game in the bottom of the inning, you're going to talk about how you want to approach a certain player. Maybe, I guess I could see a mound visit then, but all the other
Yeah.
mound visits that happen are
Are you reading these from their website?
I'm on their website right now.
Oh, dude, they're so funny. Hype your pitcher up from afar if needed.
Right, right. Oh, I mean, that's no different than usually it's the shortstop's job, right? You know, come on, let's go, you know, bear down your third baseman or somebody is like that. But um, you know, now we talked earlier about being around the mound and what is too close or what's too far. What's a mound visit? I mean, how can the pitcher walk back to second base and confer with a shortstop? Is that a mound visit or is that a
Nah,
second base visit?
they can't leave the dirt unless they're making a play, my guy.
Is that a rule?
I
The
mean,
pitcher
like
can't leave
that.
the dirt unless they're making a play?
I mean, that's what I've seen from where I've watched a ton of the Savannah Bananas games, and I've never seen a pitcher leave the dirt unless he was making a play.
Right. Well, I'm just curious. I mean, that's technically not a mound visit,
No,
you know, or if he walked over to first base and the coach walked out to first base and they talked to him there. Is that a mound visit?
no, it says from afar. Don't talk to him. Get it going.
Hey, listen, rules are made to be bent, right? We've learned that the hard way, right?
Yeah, rounding 15 feet around. Yeah, I got that.
The next one just absolutely blows my
Let's
mind. I can't.
go.
This one makes me chuckle. I laughed when I read this and I looked at it. if a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out. It's an out.
Yeah.
So you don't have 9 players on the field. You basically have 9,000 players on the field.
Let's go. Don't hit that thing foul, bub. You better hit it between the lines.
Ah, ah. Let's okay. So naturally the home team's at an advantage here, but we all know there's fans from the other team that are in the park. So as a Banana fan and we're at a home game, if the opposing fan is getting ready to catch a ball, wouldn't you just like give him the forearm shiver, to keep him
Yeah,
from
right.
catching it?
I'm gonna give him the Hakeem the Dream. No, no, no. I'm gonna block it.
I mean,
But
I see the spirit of this rule, but I see, especially when there's alcohol involved, I see this rule causing some fights in the stands.
man, honestly, I get what you're saying because of who we deal with. But like
Right.
you're there for good natural fun, man. Like, and that's what's
I get it.
beautiful about it. Like, the Savannah Bananas, and it's honestly the Savannah Party Animals. So they both work together. They're just on separate teams. One's the villain, one's like the Harlem Globetrotters. One's the villain, one's not. And
Which which brings up the question, do they play the same team every time? Is that what they do?
yeah, I mean they rotate teams. Like they rotate sometimes, but yeah, it's pretty much the same guys on the same team.
So it's like the Washington Senators and for the Harlem Globetrotters, they play them
Yeah,
every
but
game.
but the difference is the Bananas don't always win. This is a true game of like, hey, whoever wins wins.
Oh, right, I gotcha. However the outcome comes out, that's just the way it is. It's not
Yeah,
predetermined to make them win or anything like
no,
that.
this is not predetermined that they win. You might show up and
I've
see a
seen
banana win.
I've seen a couple of videos. It looks like the umpires are in on it too.
The dancing umpire's my boy, man. We've been talking a little bit here lately. Like I said, big Savannah banana guy, dude. Like love it.
So let's get on to talking about number 9. If the game is tied at the end of the 2-hour time limit, which is really an hour and 50 minutes, the game will go into a showdown tiebreaker. In each showdown, the hitter must score. If they score, it's worth 1 point. If they get out, it's worth no points, and it's called a showdown shutdown. Round 1, pitcher, catcher, and one fielder versus the hitter.
It's like the bench warmers, dude.
Well, this is going to date yourself here a little bit, Tabor, but there used to be a softball guy called the King and His Court. Do yourself a favor, Google that when you get some free time. But the King and His Court was the pitcher, the catcher, one fielder, and a first baseman. That's all it was. And they toured the country, just those 4 guys playing full softball teams. And they won 90% of the time, if not more than that.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, it's kind of sounds like that. But after round 1, if it's tied, now it goes just a pitcher, catcher, and one hitter. No fielders.
Pitcher better get after it, baby.
So he's going to get after it.
Oh yeah.
He's going to get after it. I guess why wouldn't you? Oh, you can't bunt because you're out. You can't bunt because you're out.
Yeah.
These rules fit into that, don't it?
Yeah.
If it's still tied, the pitcher, catcher, one fielder versus one hitter with the bases loaded. Every run counts as a point. If at any point a home run is hit over the wall, it's a walk-off and the game is over. So even in the top of the inning, if you hit a home run, it's over?
Don't give up
That's
no
it, huh?
bombs.
Don't give up a bomb. Well, I tell you what, I mean, it's an exciting brand. I know they're doing really, really well touring the country. It's I just wonder how long this will last. The Globetrotters did it for a lot of years, so I can't see why the Bananas would
Globetrotters
be
are
any
still
different.
doing it.
They're still doing it. You're right, but I can't see why. I mean, you'll have fans coming to every game
I mean,
just for something different.
because well, it's something different, but the biggest thing is you got to get put on a wait list for the tickets. Like I was on the wait list for Indianapolis and I didn't even get them, and I put it in back in November. So the anticipation to even get the tickets, because again they're so cheap, is out of control.
So I'm pulling up their schedule here, and it looks like they stay in Savannah. But
Yeah.
here they're coming up. They just got done with. They just got done with Sugar Land, Texas.
Yeah, they
Then they'll be in
travel.
Montgomery. Then they're going to go to Arizona. Arizona is sold out.
They're all sold out.
Um, okay, let's just jump to June. Will they be playing in June?
Yeah.
Oh, they
So
do.
33 cities, 22 states.
Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Go ahead. That's what I was looking for. Go ahead.
Well, that's what it says. 33 cities, 22 states. The greatest show in sports is coming to you in 2023.
So yeah, the bananas, I mean, they have an exciting product out there. People are really enjoying going to the game. Hopefully one day soon here I'll get to experience banana ball as it's called and get to a game and see what the excitement's all about. And it sounds like and looks like it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, super. I mean, it's from March to September. So, I mean, they just run a pretty regular schedule and they do really good at what they do.
Well, that's our time for today. We had a lot of fun going over a lot of different topics. I really enjoyed learning more about Pichardo, Olivia Pichardo, the banana ball, talking about some trick plays here. I'm Rick Goff. This is the lineup along with Tabor Klingelsmith, and we will see you guys next week.